And welcome to Niagara. Good to have you down here.
Nice that you came down.
And look at all of this work of yours around the walls here. This is amazing. How does it feel standing in a room and seeing your life?
Yeah, what's funny is seeing it all together. When I paint, it doesn't like magically form like this, but it's like, God, I use a lot of color. It's shocking. It always looks very nice how it's arranged.
Yeah.
My life. I hope this is the extent of my life right here.
It must certainly feel like that. And I mean, you've gone into a new direction with the new artwork. You're doing a lot of the older classic movie stars at the moment.
Yeah, it looks like I did a lot of work. When I see one at a time, it looks like I'm working a lot. Lately, I'm doing more of from literature. I read The Women Talking with Film Noir, The Golden Years of Hollywood, where they knew how to make movies. I just watch the old movies, read books about expats that go to Europe. It's like 1900s or earlier to 1940s, and I'm hung up on that era. And I'm reading like Cole Porter now. I finished a Chanel book. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I'm hung up, and it just is nice return to the past. Because I hate it now. Because there's so many fucking people. I mean, there's so many fucking people. Next question.
So you don't plan on doing the entire history of film then, I take it?
Well, there's so many gorgeous pictures taken back then of actresses that they can't seem to do now. They can't replicate the cinematography. And the women back then and the men, and they worked harder in a way. I mean, now it's like then you turn to blue jeans, and there was an aura that will always be revered. That will not be from then on. And what was that question?
Well, let's get on to another question then. I mean, you've got a sort of not so much a split personality, but a split career in both the art and the music. Where do you draw the line? When do you stop at one and get to work on the other?
It's that damn Gemini moon that I have. That's what my astrologer said. I'd never just do one thing. And I was like, I just want to do one thing. And then I have been painting so long, and I was in a band so long, but recently I realized that I was in my room for maybe a decade, just happily painting. It's snowing, I'm stuck there, it's all going well. I'm playing music, on the radio when I paint, and I'm going, I forgot how to talk to people. I haven't gone out. So, I mean, I love with the guys in the band, I love talking to them. I mean, it's a whole nother world, and you can imagine, and that's what I think I miss. So just suddenly last summer, now I decided to come back. Even last year I didn't want to, but it suddenly made sense, and I'm planning to enjoy it. I always plan to not enjoy something and get it over with fast because I'm messed up like everybody. But I'm going to enjoy this.
How did the connection with the Hitmen come about?
Well, I guess we knew Johnny from booking a gig with Dark Carnival in the 90s. And he was a great guy. He put together a beautiful tour. I was with Ronnie then, and Ronnie loved it here. And that was our funnest tour that we did in the whole world. It was wonderful. And when he suggested it again and things would come together, I totally trust him. That was his band. They're brilliant, and I'm a sucker for a lead guitarist, and Chris Maswick, and I mean everyone in this band, because we had our first practice today, and I was uptight about it. Oh God, nobody likes practice. Every time practice is called up, you go, it's called up, we're free, it's canceled. Canceled is like, Ronnie and I would live on that, but it wasn't. We had practice, and it was great. It was, those guys are so smart, and it started off rough, and then every note, and those guys are brilliant. I'm just so thankful. Who knows what will happen live? It might be a mess, but that's not the point, right? That's not the point.
What about going back to the history of the Ashtons and when you were working with the Ashtons way back when? Did it feel special at the
That long
time?
ago, was it?
Yeah, but did it feel special at the time?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I was a horrible fan of the Stooges in Detroit, and I love Detroit, but the MC5, the Stooges, that was an era. I mean, that music, and I mean, that ruled my life, and this was like a routine I'd have at night, just playing them on the headphones and smoking marijuana and trying to like eventually disappear into the music. I mean, it was crazy. Over and over, I'd listen to these tunes, and they were just, it was like a religion. And for a few people, actually a lot of people, you know, it wasn't like they had tons of fans back then. I'd go in the record store and say, you know, I'd want to buy a Stooges record when it was a little past, when, you know, it was sold out. It was like in the early 70s, and they would laugh at me. They weren't like light guys like they are now. There was a joke. So it was very special meeting Ronnie, and I'm like a guitar whore where I love the sound of a good guitar. And his leads are just, they start like a story, and it has this continuity. It's hard to explain that others don't. I mean, even though James Williamson in the same band has his style, Ronnie had this sensitivity and this storyboard in his head that it almost seemed like the lead would go full circle and have like a beautiful, sensitive story. Anyway, and it was hardcore at the same time, and we were very driven by it. Yeah.
You get to tell your music in both, I guess, music and in artwork, so it's a lovely position to be in, I would imagine.
Well, when I was little, I knew I couldn't do anything real. I didn't tell anyone, but it was like, man, I know I'm screwed.
Yeah. But what we're seeing on the wall, this is fantastic stuff, Niagara. It's great to have you here at Undercover.
Which one are you buying?